Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Stacy Scott, and I handle the marketing and client relations here at Wickham Financial and Insurance Services, and I'm also your host for today's webinar. Thank you so much for joining us today for this month's Lunch and Learn. We are having a very interesting topic for you today. It's insurance considerations for the coming year. With the guidance of our knowledgeable and experienced agents, Iris Turner and Suzanne Wickham Cook, we are going to explore insurance considerations for individuals and businesses. So get ready to navigate the complex world of insurance with expert advice and practical tips that will safeguard your future. And as always, there's going to be a Q&A session at the end of the discussion. So please get your questions ready and just type them into the Q&A section of the chat box, and Suzanne or Iris will answer those questions for you. And this is just a reminder that we also will be having Graham's calendar pop up from time to time. If you would like to schedule some time with him or anyone on our team, just select the day and time that work best for you, and we'll make sure and get that on the calendar. And with all of that underway, I'm going to turn everything to Graham to get started. Graham?
Yeah, thank you, Stacy. Thanks for everyone being on the call. And I just wanted to reiterate the importance of having risk management conversations, risk management planning, a part of your wealth management plan. So if we think about wealth management, and if you're a client of ours, you've kind of heard the story before. If you're not, we think about wealth management as an important aspect of managing what's important to you through all stages of your life. And that might be 5 different steps. It might be investment planning. It might be retirement planning. It could be tax strategies, estate planning, and then getting to the risk management strategies. So there's multiple steps that we want to think about when we're thinking about wealth management. So this is one important part, risk management, a part of managing your wealth through all stages of your life. So let's look at some considerations. So today the team's going to be talking a bit about some risk management strategies or risk assessment, new adventures, when and how would insurance play a role there, professional advice, the importance of having someone from an unbiased approach, from a consultative approach, talking to you about your needs in terms of protection. Policy reviews, compliance, liability protection, property coverage, how to process the claims and the steps to take, as well as emergency planning. But last but not least, cyber insurance. Many of us already have that a part of some of your policies. You want to understand that because unfortunately, we have to experience that. There is additional coverage. I'm sure the team will spend a little extra time on that. So I won't hold anything up. I'll go ahead and turn it over to the team for you guys to spend the rest of the time on the webinar.
Thank you, Graham. Hello, my name is Suzanne. Just starting off is going to be risk assessment. This is going to be evaluating your potential risk, the uncertainty of an occurrence of an event that can cause economic loss for you. Anything that exposes you to the risk of losing something of value. We have actuaries that analyze the financial cost of risk, and they help businesses and clients as yourself to develop policies that are going to help to minimize the cost that you might have to pay yourself if you're not protected by your insurance policy. So you want to be sure that you are managing your risk and mitigating your risk through your insurance. Iris, can you help us with the next topic?
My name is Iris, and the next topic is new ventures. And usually we are always in a stage of change, growth, development in our personal lives, in our commercial or business lives. We usually sometimes buy a new house or buy a beach house or change cars. So that is always considered new ventures. Also, in the business part, if we buy a new location or buy a new property, a building, equipment to be able to continue with our business, all those need to be considered when we need to add to our insurance or get new coverage or new policies. So that's something that we just need to be aware, like getting married, That's having kids. All those are new things that we need to get, take care of and make sure they're in our insurance. And the next
Let me ask,
will go to Susanne. Yes, go ahead.
I'd love to ask a question from both of y'all. So when we're talking about new adventures or risk assessment, what about like adding a pool to your house? What about if you have a diving board? What if you have a trampoline? What if you have carpets that run through your warehouse for your employees? Are those all areas that maybe some examples of new adventures and risk assessment?
Susanne can talk about that if you want. But yeah, those are, and for the home, there are changes. So anything that changes or grow needs to be talked to your agent. So the agent can do changes on your policy. So to make sure that that risk is in your policy, in either personal or commercial.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
All right, moving on. Professional advice. You're going to need to have professional advice to tailor your insurance needs to your specific business or your personal circumstances. Professional advice can come from your insurance agent, and we would give you professional advice on a new home that you may be purchasing and how to cover it appropriately. A new automobile, if you have a new driver in your household. Also, another professional advice that you may get is when you're trying to do your estate planning, getting in touch with an attorney that can help you assist setting up a trust that can protect your assets and your loved ones. Also, financial planning is also professional advice that you're going to need at some time in your lifetime to protect and build on what you have been working for and what you have made over the years. So be sure that you have your professionals in your life that can assist you with these as you're going along.
Yeah, the next topic will be policy review. It is very important that you take a deep look at what you have at the moment. Usually we recommend to be every year, just get with your agent, go read through all the documentation that you get when you buy a policy. So it makes sure that has all the properties that you own, that has that covers the employees, if you hire extra employees, the payroll, all those things need to be reviewed and considered. The same with in personal lines. If you got a new house, a new beach home, more vehicles, if your kids turn 16 and they are driving now. So all these things need to be added on your insurance, and you need to make sure that you are on an updated page. Like it has to be that any changes in your life need to be addressed. And the best will be with your agent and say, hey, I got married, now my wife needs to be added in our policy. I got a new property. I expanded my business. All those things are very important, and they need to be reviewed every year.
Excellent.
I'll pass the next topic to Susanne, which is compliance.
Thank you. Compliance means that you want to be sure that you have your policies in compliance with regulatory requirements. Just some examples. You have to be getting your tag renewed every year on your vehicle to be in compliance with the state, which also requires you to carry automobile insurance. So if you have to have an inspection of your home or an inspection of your business, you have to be in compliance. Workers' comp, you have to stay in compliance, and that means if you have 3 or more employees, then you're going to be required to carry that coverage. If you have a mortgage on your home, you're going to be required to have homeowners insurance. Same with a car. If you have a loan on a car, then you're going to be required to carry comprehensive and collision, or full coverage, as some people refer to, on your vehicle. So having insurance is important, but you also want to be sure that you are in compliance with the rules and the regulations of the state that you are in. All right, and Iris?
Yes, liability insurance will be for me, and I think for everyone, the best and insurance that you can have. I mean, that will be the most important one. Liability, I mean, is so broad, but it will cover you if a third party injury or a third party damage. So you can be liable for, or responsible for something that happened, in a business, like if somebody comes to your office and falls, trip and fall, then you can be liable for that. So general liability is an insurance that you should have. The same on homeowners. If you have a pool, the subject that we were talking just a little bit ago, if you have a pool, if you have a dog, if you have a trampoline, like if the kids in the neighborhood come to your house and start jumping on your trampoline in the backyard, something happens. I mean, all liability insurance is the most important one that you should have. Most of the insurance policies offer general liability, and I mean, in car insurance, it's mandatory for you to have a minimum auto liability insurance. So it's an insurance that we should consider and just have just for our own safety.
Perfect.
All right, moving on to property coverage. I mean, it's kind of says it for itself, but this can be for new acquisitions that you have or changes in the property values. So as Iris said, it's really important to review your policies at least once a year, but you should update your policies once a change occurs. You don't have to wait for that renewal. You need to make the change to your policies when you acquire something, or if there's going to be value changes. And this can be your personal property coverage, your home insurance, and on the commercial side, people in the construction business that have a lot of tools, or if a landscaper has a lot of mowers and hand tools. Just be sure that those are considered property, and that property insurance could help cover you for theft, which that does happen a lot. So, if you're acquiring a new home through a family member that's passing something down to you, or even a new purchase, you want to be sure that you are getting property insurance. It could also include jewelry or art that you may have acquired. It's a wide range, and just ask your insurance professional if this property coverage needs to be covered, and then you guys can decide on how much it needs to be covered for, or get appraisals or whatever is needed.
Okay. The next topic will be claims process. My recommendation is that knowing a process ahead of time makes things a lot easier and smooth. So our recommendation is to read your documentation, to make your partner aware of what you got or what you have, what insurance policies you all own, and then read the documents. Keep a contact list of your agent, of customer service phone number. Like if something happens, you're ready. So we usually tell our clients just either take a picture and have it on your phone, or save the numbers, and then when something happens, you can call and make that claim, because it can be on a weekend, it can be at 1 a.m. So usually the claim departments on the carriers, they're kind of open 24/7, so you can process the claim, but you need to know who, when to call. So our recommendation is always to read and be aware of any the claim numbers, so you're ready. And the next
Iris, I have a quick question on that. Do they? Is it best for them to call directly to the agent or directly to the insurance company for that property?
We recommend to call directly the carrier. They do have a claim department, and they will just, they're the ones, that have all the information. They will have your information ready the moment that you say, this person, this is my policy number, and they will ask you just questions to advance, like what happened, when, what hospital are you? I mean, all these things are best to go to the carrier directly. We also, work 9 to 5. So if it's an emergency after 5 p.m., we can tell you what to do during the normal business hours. But if it's something that happens during the weekend at midnight, the best contact information will be the carrier directly.
Thank you.
No problem. And this ties to the next topic, which is emergency planning, which Susanne will talk a little bit about.
Yes, it's really important to update an emergency plan. This is going to be for your personal and your business. You want to prepare for the unexpected, protect your property and your loved ones and what you've been working so hard for. Some examples: keeping your insurance policies in one designated place where, and they're organized. Designating a person in your life to know where everything is. Having your bills set up on auto pay, and that person can access your bank. They can access your policies. Listing out your financial documents on one general list somewhere would be helpful for others. It's always better to have a plan and not need it than to not have a plan and then need it. So just try to be prepared for the unexpected.
Okay, and the next topic is cybersecurity insurance. Usually, cybersecurity, what it is the practice of protecting our systems, our network, personal homes, or business companies on programs from digital attacks. So, what an insurance policy for cybersecurity insurance will help you to, like, if you get these digital attacks, if you get restriction of sensitive information, if you get loss of your normal business hours, if this insurance will help you to get back to where you were. So if you had to close your business because all your computers are off, they are not, you got attacked, and all your information is lost when you open, turn on your computers. So this insurance will help you just to get back to normal. So we recommend it 100%.
So is this an additional policy you would buy, Iris, or is it a part of your existing policy in general?
Lately, most of the carriers added in their coverage, like, meaning you buy a policy and it already has like an extra coverage there that is already charged on your premium. But sometimes they don't. But as I said, I will say 95% of the time, if you're a business owner and if you have general liability and property insurance as a package, cyber insurance will be already included. But it's good in those review of the policies, in those talks with your agent. It's always good to know if you do have it or not. And then if you don't, we totally can add that coverage in that same policy, or just get you a monoline policy just for cyber insurance.
Thank you. Susanne, on the personal lines, do they have cyber coverage a part of their personal policies, or is it just with commercial? And could they get extra coverage if they wanted to?
Some of the homeowners insurance policies do have coverage for that. You would need to review your specific policy to see if it has enough coverage, because all the limits are kind of different. So you would need to review your specific policy to see if it has a limit that you feel like you need. But you can also get protection through your credit card companies possibly. And I've always heard it's a good idea to lock your social security number. So there's multiple ways that you can get security as well as on your insurance policy.
Thank you. Well, I think that opens us up to a bit of questions and answers. Stacy, what do we have for the team?
Absolutely. Well, the first question that we've had come in is, how can individuals ensure that their property coverage accounts for changes in property values over time? That's a good question, considering property values have risen at least in our area lately.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a great question. Homeowners insurance goes up every year because the insurance companies have a built-in inflation guard. And we have seen that since COVID, they have built in an even higher inflation guard than they were. They were about 4 to 6% increase every year. So your homeowner's policy is supposed to stay in line with the inflation, but it's always good to review it with your insurance agency. I've seen on the commercial side, some of them have inflation built in, but some don't. So if you have a commercial property policy, you definitely need to be sure that the building amount is where you need it to be.
Okay. How should emergency plans align with insurance coverage to effectively mitigate potential risks?
Well, usually, yeah, and if you are prepared, like meaning you have your policy in hand, or at least read it as soon as you got it and go through it, as I said before, the more prepared, the more conscious about what you got, what insurance you have in hand, it will make things smooth and easier. So, have your partner to be aware of, where the policy is, where the contact information is, who is your agency, where you got your policies, who is the carrier. All that makes the process a lot easier, and it's just an advice that, for anything that you do, just the more the merrier. If your wife, your husband knows what you have, it makes the process a lot better.
Stacy, I'd like to add a little bit to that. I think that's really imperative, not just from the insurance side, but just from the wealth management side. We have so many usernames and passwords and different websites. We got money coming and going automatically, being deposited, distributed from the account. And I think it's really important for the surviving party, or if there's a cognitive impairment, whoever the party is going to be that's going to help manage the estate while you're alive or after you pass, to know who to contact. And that could be your insurance agent, that could be your attorney, that could be your CPA, your financial team. What are the passwords? What are the usernames? Where do they need to access? What are the life insurance policies? What is the home and auto? What is the business policy? So I think having it all laid out, I think the team mentioned it earlier, is so important, because when you're in the middle of that drama, God bless, someone passes away, or a cognitive impairment, that's not when you want to try to figure out who do you call when, right? And what is the password?
Right.
So I think proper preparing ahead of time can go a long ways, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Are there any specific areas within insurance policies that are where most cost-effective options are available without compromising your essential coverage?
Yeah, I can talk about, if you have a vehicle which is, a heavy truck, for example, you need to increase those limits on auto liability. You need to have higher limits than what Georgia mandates, at least 500,000. The Georgia mandates 25, 50, 25. So our advice will be just know what you have and the risk, that you can, get in front of you. So you need to increase the limits. If you have more employees, you need to make sure that they are in the policy. So all those changes need to be, reviewed. And then if that means that it needs to be increased, then that needs to be increased, because it's just a better insurance, more complete for what you do, and either personal or commercial.
Excellent.
All right. And I have one more question here. Are there specific industries or situations where it's advisable to increase your liability coverage limits?
Yeah, Susanne can add to it, but yeah, usually it's just very similar to what I just mentioned. Yeah, like sometimes you need to increase the limits so you are, more secure. If you have, as I said, big trucks, if you have more kids, I mean, you need to make sure that everybody, all these changes, have the best insurance more broader. But Susanne can maybe add a little on that.
I just think that when you are getting your insurance policies, you need to go ahead and get those higher limits of liability. If you're going to be in situations that you might have more risk, go ahead and have those higher limits of liability or an umbrella in place, so you don't have to change it for every time you have a new life event. You've already got those coverages in place to cover you if needed.
Excellent.
All right. Okay, well, thank you to all of our viewers for joining us once again for our monthly Lunch and Learn webinar session. And a big thank you to Suzanne and Iris and, of course, Graham for all of the information that you all have provided for us today. This is news that we can all use, whether it's for our businesses or in our personal lives. And remember that you can always find the most current information, including our weekly wrap-ups and these webinars on our social media pages, such as Facebook and LinkedIn, and also on our website. So we invite you to please stay connected with us. I hope you have a great afternoon and enjoy this fun, festive time of year and all that it brings. Thanks so much.
Thank you.